A lot of Nigerians who clamored for him in 2015 actually did not know much about Buhari. I was a victim too.
That is what history does.
Now you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people didn't even know that when Buhari became the military president of Nigeria Buhari became the president of Nigeria in 1983 or thereabout, in December 1, how he killed people like Ambrose Ali, jailed people like Lateef Jakonde, and all these people who used proceeds from cocoa to rebuild Lagos, rebuild Edo State, and rebuild many other states in Nigeria. But he arrested all these people, but his brother, that was the president, Alhaji Shehu Shagari, was in Sokoto enjoying and was receiving his benefits. But people that were merely governors, you were running after them. The only northern, I think Umaru Diko, I don't think he's even from the corner, was one of the only person from that area that Buhari ran after. Why? Because Umaru Diko did not agree with him. Every other person that disagreed with him, he killed them. As if that was not enough, Nigerians were to vote to, to nominate the next Secretary General of Commonwealth of Nations then. So it was an Igbo man who was one of the most senior person that was supposed to become the next president. What did Buhari do? He gave his votes to Mali. So what did Buhari show us there? He's not a Nigerian. It is only a rogue leader that would do that. But how many Nigerians were aware of those key things? How many Nigerians knew that during PTN, Buhari became an avenue through which Abacha was siphoning money to abroad? That is why they systematically remove history from our curriculum. I remember when I was growing up, I did social studies, I did history, and this history were mainly about our people. They even taught us what they called, there was another one they call civic education, where they teach you about people like Moremi, Oba Oborame, Oba Kosoko of Lagos, King Jaja of Opobo, Abat Macaulay, all these people that, that fought tirelessly for Nigeria. I first learned about these people in elementary school, my brother.
That is the way it's supposed to be.
But do people still learn? Do people even remember that these people existed or no? So,
but you just said that ASU have been on strike for 7 months.
It is a systematic thing. They deliberately took away these core classes from the university curriculum to cover their own evil, so that nobody will read about them. They do it when they die, they go. So nobody will even remember them again. Even when we mention their name, we have to go start digging and digging and digging, And when many of these things are not written, it's difficult to even connect with them. Even when I did Nigerian foreign policy 1 and 2, most of the things that were written about Buhari, foreign policy, really did not capture the entire life of Buhari. It was when I got to the US, I went back to school, I started reading books. That I started learning about some of these things. Because if you go to some of these libraries, you will see all these periodicals, especially the ones that are, that are African oriented. You will see them talking about these issues. They will tell you there was one I read that was saying why Africa failed was because Nigeria failed. So when they were analyzing why Nigeria failed, they put some of these stories there.
So now, Can we pretend that the people in the seat of power in Nigeria are not intelligent enough to understand what we are talking about here? Or why can't a normal human being just say that, oh, we want Nigeria to also be the best country in the world. Let's do everything possible. Let's go to work. Why are they not thinking like that?
Because they're selfish and they don't want Nigeria to get out of this situation. Because the day Nigeria get out of this situation, they too might begin to lose value. And these guys that we're talking about here, they are people who want to continue to stay relevant even when they are not doing the right thing. Have you ever sat down and think, if you wake up today and question any of them, then you become their target? Have you sat there and think about it?
It's unfortunate.
That came out against Buhari, what did they do? What did he do to them? He incarcerated the one he came. He almost even killed this Omoyele Sowore. They look at when Chief Ganifa Wayne was on the street telling Nigerians the truth. What did they do to him? Firing tear gas on him. His right to peaceful protest was taken away from him. Look at when the student of Obafemi Awolowo, was talking about bad governance and bad administrator in OAU. What did they do to those students? They went there and killed them in cold blood. Professor Wale Omole sponsored cultists into the school and killed those students in cold blood. Till today, did you hear anything about it? When people rose up against EndSARS and stood on Tinubu's toll gate, what did they do to them? They massacred them despite the fact that they were holding Nigerian flags in their hands. They killed them all. Why do you think they're doing that? They have to instill that fear. They have to intimidate people. They have to threaten. They have to kill. They have to maim just so that they can continue to perpetrate themselves in power, even when they are not doing enough. That is
all right. Now, Mr. Monday, tell me, what is the hope?
The hope.
Now, these are human beings. They have the chance to be able to become the terror of the country. I want to repeat again what Osayomore of Blessed Memory was saying. Those that are really ruling Nigeria, they are less than 100 people. They hold the country by their teeth.
Yes.
They don't want to let it go, and they are ready to make sure that the entire people, more than 200 million Nigerians, remain where they are. They are using poverty as a weapon. They are using ignorance as a weapon. They are using tribalism as a weapon. All this against the people. They are using the people like the cricket, using the oil of the cricket to fry the cricket itself.
The number one thing is that an average Nigerian should be aware of his or her own problem. Because if you did not recognize that you are in trouble, it will be difficult for you to even think about a solution. Because if you did not know you are in trouble, it is difficult for you to think that someone is responsible for it. So the number one thing is for Nigerians to actually recognize these problems. Then the number two is now to begin to identify who is responsible for this problem. That is the number two. The number three thing is that Nigerians should become vigilant. They should become vigilant. And the number four is that they need to start their own independent study. They don't have to rely on hearsay. If Monday Alade says something, let them go and verify it. If Obehi posts something on his podcast, let them go and verify it. So by doing those verifications, you'll be able to authenticate the story that you're learning. Then that allows you to have your own, it will allow you to make your own educated decision as to which side you want to belong, or who you have to vote for, or who you have to call your leader. The number five thing is that you and I cannot relent in what we are doing. Even if we have to do it alone, we have to stand by our words and we have to continue to, to use our conscience, our knowledge, our exposure, our training, our education, and everything we have to continue to tell the truth.